If you're a senior today and you've got a halfway decent doctor, chances are they've told you to start strength training. And they are 100% right. In the last decade of running a strength training business, I've seen a huge spike in the number of people coming through our doors telling us that their doctor told them that they needed to start strength training. But here's the problem. Telling someone to go strength train without telling them what to do for their strength training is like handing someone a giant IKEA furniture set unassembled with zero instructions. Except in this case, the consequence isn't a wobbly bookshelf, it's a torn rotator cuff or a blown out knee. So today, I'm gonna help you fix that. And this idea of strength training as medicine, well, it started all the way back in 1944 with one man named Thomas DeLorme. You see, Gardner General Hospital used to be a luxury hotel. By the year 1944, it was a full-blown military-grade hospital. It was packed wall to wall with wounded soldiers, those who'd injured their backs, their knees, their hips, their shoulders. Recovery was incredibly slow. 6 to 9 months of bed rest was the norm for anyone that had been injured. That's when a young doctor named Dr. Thomas DeLorme dared to try what no one else had. In his youth, Dr. DeLorme was struck by rheumatic fever, and he was told by doctors that he'd never lift anything heavier than a book. But he defied the odds. He began to lift weights in his house and became so strong that folks started calling him the Bama Hercules. So when Sergeant Thaddeus Kowalek limped into Dr. Thomas DeLorme's ward with a blown out knee, DeLorme didn't prescribe bed rest. He prescribed heavy progressive overload resistance training, complete with iron boots, actual shoes made of iron that people used for weight training back in the day. And they trained heavy and hard, 3 sets of 10, progressively adding resistance every single workout. And the results were nothing short of incredible. Pain decreased, function returned. Thaddeus Kowalek could run again. By 1948, DeLorme's approach, progressive resistance training, became the standard in medical care. He shattered the myth that strength training was dangerous for the weak or for the injured, instead showing that it was probably the best form of medicine available. So how do we go from iron boots to an outright fear of barbell training? Well, I think there is a decade that really changed everything. To find the answer, we have to zoom in on a single decade, one that changed fitness forever in America, the 1970s. In the year 1969, most gyms didn't allow women. There were no sports bras, no foam rollers, and yoga was for hippies. If you exercised for fun, people looked at you sideways. But over the next 10 years, something seismic happened. Exercise went mainstream. Here's how it unfolded. Jogging went from unheard of to presidential. Jimmy Carter could be seen jogging around the White House in the late 70s. Nike went from a $2 million company to a $700 million company, mostly fueled by the jogging craze in the United States. Jazzercise and aerobics made fitness a downright party. Funny story, my dad, on the day that I was born, was at an aerobics class at his gym and had to be called over the loudspeaker to step out of the class and head straight to the hospital and meet my mom there, as the family legend goes. And yoga entered the living room. By the late 1970s, yoga wasn't just for hippies, it was wellness for suburban moms. And finally, in the 1970s, bodybuilding got big and intimidating. Arnold Schwarzenegger's 1977 movie Pumping Iron brought bodybuilding to the forefront. Yow! He's here to pump you up. Yow! Arnold is here to pump you up. Suddenly, big muscles were everywhere and all intimidating. But to the average person, strength training started to feel intense, extreme, and even vain. In short, we embraced exercise, but we forgot about strength training. But that all changed in 2007 with the Exercise as Medicine initiative, which right in the guidelines recommends 2 strength training sessions per week for everyone who wants to be healthy and fit. Then came a tidal wave of research. A 2016 study in preventative medicine found that seniors who strength train have a 46% lower chance of dying from all causes. A 2022 meta-analysis in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that those who strength train consistently have a lower risk of heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and early death. Even the CDC now recommends strength training twice a week, especially for older adults. So if your doctor's telling you to lift weights, they're not just being trendy, they're finally catching up with the evidence. But here's the wild part. We still have to undo decades of confusion and misinformation about what it actually means to strength train safely and effectively for seniors. And that's why, despite good intentions, most strength training programs for seniors still miss the mark. So let's talk about why. First, let's talk about resistance bands. Lightly colored, marketed to seniors, but inherently flawed for 3 reasons. Number 1, they get harder at the end of the movement when your muscles are actually their weakest. And because of this, you simply cannot use enough resistance to stimulate muscles throughout the full range of motion. Contrast that with weights that never change their resistance, and you can understand why training with weights would be so much more effective than training with bands. There's no precise way to track progression, as the resistance of a band actually changes over time. The more you use a band, the looser it becomes and the less resistance you have. And you simply can't tell how much resistance you're putting on your body. It's also highly variable and dependent on where you step on the bands or how you attach the band to the anchor point, etc. Contrast that with a weight. There's very little variation and change in weights over time. And they simply don't load your tissues sufficiently, especially for lower body exercises like squats and deadlifts. Next up is bodyweight training. Now, bodyweight training has its place, and in fact, we're gonna go over a squat progression here in a moment. We're gonna start with bodyweight, but bodyweight's just the beginning. It certainly should not be the ceiling of your training. For starters, many seniors simply don't have the strength to do bodyweight exercises on their own, like push-ups and pull-ups and squats and lunges. And for those that do, they'll often move fairly quickly past the point of those bodyweight exercises being able to stimulate them sufficiently to elicit the adaptation of improved strength. So there's quite a narrow window where bodyweight exercises are effective and appropriate for you, and they certainly should not be your only form of training. And third is machines. So machines remove the real world carryover and applicability of the exercise by forcing your body to move in a fixed, confined, and very stable path. Take a leg press, for example. It's kind of like bowling with the guardrails up on the side. Yeah, you're gonna throw a lot of strikes. You may build big muscles, but those muscles aren't gonna be functional and actually have carryover into real life when you wanna go and do things that are important to you. Just like with bowling, if you bowl with those guardrails down, yeah, you might bowl some gutter balls, but you're gonna figure it out and get good at bowling in the long term. A squat, for example, is gonna force your ankles, your knees, your hips, your core to all fire synergistically to keep you upright and moving through that range of motion. That's how you not only build muscle, but you build it in a way that's meaningful and has carryover into real life. So let's talk about how to actually get started effectively and safely. Now, this is where most people get stuck. They've read the research, they've heard the stories, their doctor told them to start strength training, but they simply don't know where to get started. What are you supposed to do on Monday morning when you show up at the gym? So to answer that clearly and simply, we're gonna zoom in today on the squat. I'm gonna show you how to take a squat from level 0, something that anyone can do, all the way up to very advanced. I'll talk about how I would program it, how you warm up for it, how you actually do it, and then how you progress from workout to workout. Let's dive in. So let's say it's Monday morning. You're gonna show up at the gym and you're gonna start with squats. You're gonna do 3 sets of 5 squats with body weight. That's it. It's gonna feel ridiculously easy for a lot of you. And maybe for some of you, you can't even quite do that yet. And for you, you're gonna do an assisted squat. So maybe you're going down to a box, or maybe you're even holding something like a pole from a rack or TRX straps as you go through your squat. Even doing a partial range of motion squat, that's your starting point. Then on Wednesday, you're coming back and you're gonna do the same thing again, but just a little bit more. If you did that body weight squat for 3 sets of 5 on Monday and you felt good about it, you're gonna add the smallest dumbbell you can find for Wednesday. So for most of you, that's a 2.5 pound dumbbell. You're gonna do your 3 sets of 5 reps. Then on Friday, you're back again for more squats, and you're gonna go find the next dumbbell. You're gonna grab the 5 pound dumbbell and you're gonna do 3 sets of 5 reps. The following week, you're gonna continue the same progression, going up by 2.5 pounds every single workout. 7.5, 10, 12.5, 15, 17.5, 20, all for 3 sets of 5 reps. Somewhere along the way, you're probably gonna wanna add in at least 1 warm-up set for those squats. So once you get to around 20 pounds, I'd recommend adding a set of 5 body weight squats on the front end before your 3 sets of 5 with that 20-pound dumbbell. Once you reach 25 to 30 pounds or so on that dumbbell squat, it may start to get awkward to hold the weight, and that's your cue to know that it's time to switch to a barbell squat. If you're gonna squat on your own with a barbell, I highly recommend that you have spotter arms in place to catch the bar in case you cannot get back up from the squat. And we recommend starting with a training bar, which is a 15-pound barbell, or even a 33-pound bar if you can get your hands on one of those. And you're gonna follow the same process. You're gonna do a warm-up, and then you're gonna do your 3 sets of 5, and every single workout, you're gonna add 5 pounds to the bar. So you start with that 45-pound bar. The next workout, you're gonna do 50 pounds, and then 55 pounds, and then 60 pounds, and then 65 pounds. And every single time you come to the gym, you're sending your body the signal that you need it to adapt and get a little stronger. And every time you come back, your body's gonna be ready for a little bit more of that same stimulus. And this is how real strength is built. Not by feeling the burn, doing countless numbers of reps, or burning as many calories as possible, but by doing real movements and progressively adding resistance over time. So if you're wondering, well, what do I do other than just the squat? We put something together that's pretty cool. It's our 12 weeks to strength program, and I wanna give it to you completely free. Click the link in our description below, enter your email, and we will send it straight to your inbox. This is the program that I would recommend for somebody who's just getting started with strength training, or somebody who's taken a break from strength training, wants to come back, or maybe it's somebody that is a little bit confused and lost in their strength training, wants to make sure they're doing a program that's appropriate for someone their age. If you're intimidated or concerned about hurting yourself in the gym, this is the type of program you're gonna want to have as you're getting started. So your doctor was right. You need to strength train, but how you do it is really, really important. So pick exercises that are appropriate for someone your age, start at a level that's appropriate for you, and progress appropriately. Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you want more content just like this. I'm Dr. Matt. We'll see you next time.